Give it a minute. Alrighty. Good evening. Welcome to the BNR Racing Network here tonight as we have the AMS Cup Series from Las Vegas. Alongside of me tonight is Will. I heard you before. Good evening, Will.
Yes, good evening, Brian. Good to be here tonight.
Yes, sir, it is. It's haven't talked to you in a couple of days, but it's always good to hear you. Las Vegas. We seen that Sunday. We saw how a good race that was for some, and I see the 44's got its tricks coming out, scuffing up the tires a little bit. But before we let you get into your history about Vegas, let me go over this little thing here. So, we're at Las Vegas, Nevada. A mile and a half. The current track temp is 83 degrees. It is 77 degrees Fahrenheit and 56% humidity. Clear skies, Will, and 2 mile per hour wind. So they have a little bit more of less wind than the actual Phoenix race itself. They do run a fixed setup, 70% fuel, and they do get one fast repair. So now we'll let you do the honors of giving the history of Las Vegas. So if you want to do that, go ahead, and it's all yours.
Yes, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway originally laid down in 1996, I do believe here. So, completed in 97, and everything from the Indy Racing League to even GT World America has raced here. So, lots of different racing series has been here. This track has been reconfigured from its original. It was a flat mile and a half, pretty much flat, as if kind of like Nashville, Brian, or kind of Kentucky, original Kentucky. Before that track was also reconfigured. So let me see here the banking. So 20 degrees in the corners. It has progressive banking in the corners. Front stretch and back stretch both at 9 degrees here. So very, very great track. Like you said, there's always been pretty good racing. Normally, it came down to fuel mileage or just, having the dominant car like we saw this past Sunday with Kyle Larson. Mark Martin won the first 2 races, I do believe, here. Or I think it was Mark Martin, then Jeff Burton, or it could have been Mark. Anyway, it was Roush Racing that won the first 2 races, I do believe here. It could have been the first 3. But yes, Las Vegas, as we know, it had a track change, or the reconfiguration. They increased the banking. So before 2006, the track had 12 degrees of banking in the turns. Different measurements have been used, but that's vastly different to the 20 degrees of banking that you have to deal with today. And Brian, you know just as well as I do how treacherous the middle of 1 and 2 can be with the bumps if you don't set the car right in either the bottom or the top lane. If you go in there in the middle, you can really bottom the car out pretty badly at certain times. So you got to watch out for that. And like you talked about, the wind here can sometimes play a factor, as we saw in the real world this past weekend. So, like we talked about, IndyCar raced here, so we don't necessarily need to talk about that any further because of the tragedy that happened the last time IndyCar raced here. So, but yes, that's pretty much the rundown, the quick history, the quick summary. There is a 3/4 mile or a little short track that quarter midget mile. There we go. And inside the infield here. So, but like I said, also has somewhat of a roval aspect to it, as like I talked about, the GT America Series has raced here. I think also the Pirelli World Challenge was also what it was called before that. So normally produces pretty great racing, and always can't wait to see it, Brian.
Yes, sir. Anyway, well, perfect timing. Awesome job with that. I am gonna go over the starting grid here. So it was just perfect timing. Look at that. So starting P1 would be Brian Baker. P2 would be Adam Boughton. P3 would be Will Roberts. P4 will be John Neckrich. P5 would be Randy Sample. P6 would be Michael Springer. P7 would be Dylan Kritz. P8 would be Antonio Bonani. P9 will be Ryan Honeycutt. P10 will be Kevin Trzynski. Thank you, Kevin, for sending me over that to get in here for you guys. You're the man. P11 will be Joseph Madigan. P12 will be Jonathan Mazzella. P13 will be Aaron Spear. P14 will be Josh Farmer. P15 will be Michael Cochran. P16 will be Michael Carter. P17 will be Sean O'Brien. P18 will be Greg Elliott. P19 will be Kane Lee. P20 will be Jason Taylor. P21 will be Clint Collins. P22 will be Chris Ostrander. And P23 will be Keenan Miller. Well, 23 awesome drivers here tonight.
Yes, indeed. Pretty good sized crowd this evening. This will be back-to-back Las Vegas races for me. You know, got done calling one last night and then tonight. So fuel window, 45 laps, about 42 to 45 laps on a full tank tonight, Brian, with the 70% fuel this evening that these guys run every week.
Nice. So that'll help you for 2 weeks whenever we go there. See that?
Yep. Yes, indeed.
So that's perfect. But anyway, well, Baker's back in the front again. We've seen how he can control the field. We've seen that Daytona and somewhat at Atlanta when he was up there. These guys are just an awesome group. Every week we just get pumped up when these guys come out and take the track. These guys are awesome at what they do, and they can tend to keep it gritty green for a very long time too as well, from what we see. So that's always a good thing though. In our eyes, the longer the green flag, the quicker they all get done instead of sitting around pacing for God knows how long. But anyway, Las Vegas is always a good track.
And you see they are getting ready, doubled up here for their initial start. So pretty good sized field like we talked about after you got done with the grid. So love to see it.
Like I said, amazing group. Will we couldn't be any thankful to come aboard with these guys on Monday night. So that gives us something to do for the spare time thing. So surprisingly, I'm surprised I'm still awake after working today and getting up as early as I did. But anyway, we'll get ready to come to the green flag here. And just like that, the green flag is out.
Yes, indeed. Baker with a whole shot initial launch there as they are going to scatter behind him. You can see up there in the rearview mirror just how scattered they're trying to get. Multiple lanes here, so it's a pretty wide track for the most part. It's one of the widest mile and a halves, I would have to say, on the circuit, except it narrows up on the exit of turn 4 and turn 2 here. Pretty tight racing on the opening lap there.
Absolutely. Well, I agree with you. 3 wide as they enter turn 1 and 2. Now back to double file here, so as they come
And
to,
you got to be.
go ahead, I'm sorry, sir.
I was just going to say, you got to be very careful, giving your competitors room early on. You can go 3 wide here. Saw plenty of it last night, that's for sure, and also yesterday in the actual cup race. So just got to be patient, give each other room, give each other space, give each other time to breathe as well. As you see, Will Roberts chasing down Brian Baker already early goings here. Not me. That is, I guess you want to call him almost my doppelganger there. So 200 miles this evening. Just about almost all the events are thereabouts, between 150 to 200 miles, as more contact made coming out of turn 2 the lap prior.
You see
As you can see, Roberts and Baker. Yep. They're still jockeying for positions for about 5th on back, it looks like. They're trying to get kind of single-filed and trying to get evened out here, but it's going to take a little bit of time. As you know, tires don't really start to fall off until you get a good handful of laps under you here at Vegas.
Oh yeah, that was one of the issues in the real world race of the tires having less air in it to go faster. Which is a fixed setup, you can't do that. Or it's whatever iRacing gives you. So, and I do believe you start off with very low tire pressures anyway. So.
Has fixed setup, so you can't really touch anything on the car except the steering rack, brake bias, and master cylinders, I think. I think that's it, right, Brian?
And some offset, too, if you want a little offset in the car. But yes, sir, that is absolutely true. That's the only things you can touch on a fixed set. So they do it to keep everybody even, which is...
Indeed.
Fair play.
And like we talked about already, you're going to see some drivers get a bit aero tight here in the draft, in the toe of another car behind their competitor. And that could wash them up the track into the wall on corner exits. So always be mindful of that. Throttle control is key here at Vegas when you're in the draft. Because like we just talked about, you don't want to get suckered into the wall. As you can see, the 8, he is trying to defend, but can't quite seem to maintain that position as well. So that is the defending champion of Elliott.
Yes, sir, that is.
Greg Elliott losing some positions here, not able to maintain that spot. Like we are going to be talking about for at least probably another couple of weeks, just to get everybody reassured with how the points work over here. You get 1 point for pole position, 1 point for leading a lap, another point for leading the most laps, 3 points for winning the race, 2 points, you get race win points towards the chase, so towards the playoffs. You get 2 points per win when the chase starts. So regular season, there will be 10 points races in the regular season plus 6 chase playoff races. And 15 drivers will be eligible, the highest ones up in points or so on, to go into that playoff, Brian.
That's interesting. I like it. I like it. A lot different from all the other leagues that we have done. It's something new, so that's always an interesting ordeal there. So I like how they do it.
Roberts is taking the lead, Brian, while we were focusing back here on this gaggle of cars. So he's taking the lead away from Baker.
Oh, it's the 78.
Yes, indeed.
Always good to see him out there. He had a very good run last week, but then got caught up in
Got
that
caught up.
gaggle that happened.
Yes, indeed.
Good to see him up here leading in that 78 machine. Much love to you, and if you're a Martin Truex fan, that's awesome job for you. So,
The 94 has started to close in just
yes,
a little bit.
Right on the back of that 3 machine there, Will.
Yep, on the back of Baker, really applying the pressure now. So it's a 3-car breakaway, just over a second and a half, almost 2 seconds back to Honeycutt in the 51 machine. I do believe it's the 51 this week. So Madigan in the 76. He's kind of in a battle with Spear and Kritz. And Bonini. And then Nurek. Like I said before the show, I do apologize for butchering anyone's name. You've got
John Neckridge.
You've got. Yep.
I do believe that's how you say it, yeah.
Neckridge.
66.
Could be,
that's
yes.
for 10 spot. So from 4th all the way to 10th, this is the battle. You see Kocher in there. Will gets a little tight going into 3 and 4, and as the 35 does nick the wall there, so. Or was that the 77? That might be the 77 that nicked the wall there. But anyway, you come back here a little bit more. The 12th. He's leading that pack there of.
The 65 there. Coming down to block Elliott. Elliott doesn't like that. He's going to walk him up the track because of that. That is O'Brien, I do believe, in the 65.
Yes, sir,
that is. So just really hard-nosed racing, and we're not even 20 laps into this race, Brian. So these drivers are getting all the good off that Goodyear Eagle rubber that they can get, that's for sure. Trying to make up places on this opening break.
You see there, Will, we have a lead change there.
Yes, indeed. It is the 94 going for the lead here. As Will Roberts tries to reel up that high side to keep him pinched down on the bottom. He can make up a lot of time on the high side, but you can also take the shortest way around on the bottom.
Well, that was kind of like how Larson was. He was giving all that dirty air to Tyler Reddick and just really couldn't do much. And that's kind of like what happened there to Will Roberts. He ended up getting a little tight there, and the front almost lost the front there. It's that dirty air of when 94 came down and took that line away from him. So dirty air is the key, especially with these cars.
So in total, we have 8 seconds separating all the cars on the lead lap. 8.5 seconds back to Randy Sample in the 24 in 23rd position. But that's not to say that we still don't have really tight, close, hard racing. You see third on back. You throw a blanket that is 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, I do believe, Brian. And then yes. Back here, you have
oh, there it is.
Oh, yes, indeed. Like we talked about, coming out of turn 4, it narrows up, and it narrowed up in a hurry for the 91 and the 46, respectfully. It looked, I think what happened was Farmer just got tight, I think, and just walked it up into the 91.
See a little replay here. You see the 65 was down there. That dirty air plays a factor for the 46. You
am.
see the 46 getting tight, coming up the track into the 91. 91 was out there. They make some door contact. 91 in the wall, ricochets off, hits the 46, and around goes the 46. So that's what I'm saying with
Like you
that
talked
dirty
about.
air.
Exactly. That dirty air. So just being the lead car in a squabble here, you can really, just like what you talked about, Brian, you can really kind of dictate or control how that car behind you may handle with that dirty air being just unloaded on the front of that competitor. So, like we talked about, you gotta know kind of when to charge hard and when to kind of lay it off just a tad bit to where you kind of don't get trapped in that dirty air, Brian. But it can be very difficult here at Vegas as we see everybody coming down now under this first caution. So,
Oh, yeah. Everybody's in. And we can watch the race off the pits.
yes, next week these guys will go to, let me see here. I want to say Phoenix. I believe it's Phoenix. It is Phoenix.
Oh,
So,
like
if I'm not mistaken, Brian.
Lost her off of the.
Yeah, it could take a good minute to get traction because these pit boxes are concrete. You're driving in from asphalt pavement and then trying to turn into a concrete pit stall. So it can be a little bit tricky to where you might lock up and slide through the pit box. You got to back up. So you got to try to not make too many costly mistakes on pit road. But if I'm not mistaken, the next 4 weeks are going to be short tracks.
Oh, the wonderful short tracks. Short tracks could be good. Well, we'll just have to see how this group does with it. Hold on, wait a minute. Is there 2 honey cuts? I don't think so. No, there ain't.
No, it's just there is another Wendy's car, but Honeycutt this week is in the 51 Justin Haley car that Haley ran, I want to say, at Atlanta.
Yes.
So it's basically a Dell Earnhardt, almost Goodwrench paint scheme almost.
Oh yeah, but just on a Ford. Good thinking, Will.
That's what I was looking at whenever he was qualifying, or every time I saw the car at Atlanta. It just reminded me of a Goodwrench paint scheme almost. So
It does. Yeah, you're right. But you see here, Will Honeycutt won the race off of pit road, so he's going to bring this field back to green flag. So
yeah, we got Honeycutt. Then you got the 94. I'm hesitant to try not to butcher his name. Madigan in the 76, then Will Roberts and Krutz in the 34. That's the top 5. As
and
green flag back out in the air. Yes, who's going to say it first, Brian?
You were. Absolutely you were.
I was trying to get back there.
Good. You see, once again, Will,
yes, and
all tight pack racing on the drop of the green flag. They are eager to get going here, so now they know their limits. Now they know how hard they can push. But boy, that 35 loves that wall coming off the 4.
Yeah, Brian, I'd have to agree with you for the most part. They got a decent...
Oh, there it is.
Oh, man, this is going to tangle up 3 cars. That's Michael Cochran and Krut. Yes. What happened going into turn 1? Did the 94 get a bump, or what happened here?
It looked like the
Oh,
34 came down a little bit, Will.
well, it just looked like a meeting of the minds there. One come up, one came slightly down, and chaos ensued in turn 1 here. As innocent bystander, Michael Cochran in the 42, just nowhere to go.
Yeah, very
As we,
unfortunate, Will.
yeah, the 94 was our race leader before that caution came out, so he was going to try to make some moves, get back up to the front, but like we just saw, it was just a bit of a coming together of the two. Really, that's kind of what it looked like, as the 94 was trying to set his car up for the corner entry. I believe these guys get one fast repair.
Yes. See, I would like to talk to these drivers, but I don't know how they'd take it, so I'm not gonna do it. Just to get the feel all around and get updates on the cars and stuff like that. So we'll give them another few.
Yes, they do get one fast repair.
Because you know how we like to randomly just pull somebody up and give them a little chit chat. But a lot of these guys are in their team radios, and we don't want to interfere with that. So, anyway, well, as we saw here, very tight racing from this group. They bring you a lot of excitement, that's for sure.
Yeah, they truly do.
We've seen a lot of it, even the first couple of weeks that we been here. So,
Daytona race was great. Green flag, flag to flag from the drop the green to the checkered flag, so no caution for the season opener. Exciting finish, to say the least. And the week that followed at Atlanta, it was very similar racing to what we saw at Daytona. Of course, it being a drafting, tapered spacer track. Don't really call them restrictor plates anymore. But so we did see a couple of cautions, just mainly due to just untimely bumps or stuff to that nature, maybe being just off-centered bumps. And then this being Vegas, just how racy this track can be. You will eventually make contact. It's bound to happen with how just how great racing this track can provide. So.
oh yeah.
I believe we had last night in the Vegas race I helped call last night. I believe there was a total of 4 cautions, if you don't count their stage break. So I think they had 4 cautions. I think so. Not too bad of a night overall. That's kind of what I expect coming into almost like a typical Vegas race. You get at least 3 or 4 cautions. I think there was 4 if you included the stage break. I'm trying to remember now. All my days run together. You just love when that happens. So it looks like Honeycutt is going to pick the outside lane for this restart. I believe he is the leader or the control car. It could be Madigan.
I think it was Honeycutt.
I think it was Honeycutt too. So we were more focused though on the crash. So that Chevy Silverado Sierra GMC pickup truck darts down, and it was Honeycutt. So Honeycutt picked that outside lane. That's probably what I would do, Brian, if I was on iRacing. I would mainly probably pick that outside lane almost every time, just to have a better entry into the corner. But you saw right away after he crossed the start-finish line, he dropped to the bottom, so he wasn't too worried about the angle into the corner.
Oh yes, sir. I agree with you. As long as you control the restart, you have right away go wherever in the box unless it, I don't know if these guys go on they actually have the restart zone. So
They go on leader discretion from when the pace car pulls off, it says. So have to go on the leader whenever the leader decides to go once the pace car, or in tonight's case, pace truck, has pulled off the racing surface.
there you go. See, I always thought it was in the restart box. But always good to know.
Starting off. So they're still as racy as they were, it seems like, to start off the race. 32 laps in the books being complete here. As you can see, the 44 kind of walking up the track.
Oh yeah. But a tight
You see back here,
73.
indeed, 46, a Farmer. So Clinton Collins is 2 laps down along with Michael Cochran. So two drivers, 2 laps down at the moment, hoping to not be a part of another caution.
I wonder if they saved their fast that could be a possibility.
I think it is a possibility. Yes, lead change at the front of the field. The 76 and 51 going hard at it. Here comes the 78 of Will Roberts. We saw Will have a pretty decent, I would say, short to medium run car. We haven't really got to have a long run yet in the books. It's mainly been, I would say, just a medium run that we've got to see so far tonight. Hopefully we can get a good enough long run in. As, what is that, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the first 10 cars is that, Brian, kind of broken away single file for the most part.
Yep, the top 10 all in one little line there.
Yes, that's Honeycutt, Madigan, Roberts, Neckrich, Baker, O'Brien, Elliott, Carter, help me out with the Italian, and Taylor in the 44, or just the top 9, excuse me, that's the top 9, Brian, broken away at the front, as Taylor in the 44 is leading the next group, somewhat leading. He's having a battle with a Strander. Oh, I did it again. I think. Chris will correct. Okay.
That's how I say.
I was going to say, Chris will correct me hopefully after the race. I kind of joined, their race chat before the race just to get confirmation on the names, and here I go, just making a fool of myself. But that's what I do best sometimes. So, as we see back here, this fierce pack, they're just trying to log some laps. Some of these drivers got caught up in some of the early skirmishes, so they do have some lingering damage. Like we talked about, they probably haven't repaired it fully. Don't want to waste that fast repair. Oh my goodness, Chris, catch that walking car. As we talk about, just when you have a driver in front of you kind of change lanes drastically, so that's going to just dump that dirty air on your car. So that's just going to just make your car unruly for the front end of it, right, Brian? You know just as well as I do how that feels, and it's not a pleasant feeling. It really just can make your car just, as we have seen, just go up the track uncontrollably.
That's that dirty air, and that's why a lot of these guys, I'm sure a lot of these guys did the NIS, so they know what it's like. So I think the NIS was 133, 133 laps. It's brutal the longer the run. This track does numbers to the tires. I tell you what, I struggled. I believe even on a set. Oh.
Yep. Oh, hard racing. Crits coming out of the corner, almost got walled or ran out of real estate. As up at the front, Madigan is really applying the pressure to Honeycutt in the 51. It's hard to take our eyes off of the battles going all throughout this field, but my goodness.
I'm trying to keep up with, like, there's a lot. I'm trying to give love throughout.
Oh, yes. As you can see, the drastic...
A lot of battles.
It is, bro. You could see the drastic moves that Will Roberts is trying to do. It's so awkward calling your own name, and it's not you, it's someone. It is so weird. But, yes, he's making some moves. You know, ironically enough, I used to drive the 78 on NASCAR, what was it, like NASCAR 14 and 15, back on the old 360 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
it might have been 14 or 15, yeah.
Was
that when Martin was in or Kurt Busch?
Kurt and Martin. Kurt, I think, was in 14, and Martin, I think, was in 15. I think. I could have that, well, not backwards, but you know what I mean.
No, I think you're right, because Kurt Busch was in it first, and then Martin...
Yes, Kurt was in it first.
When it was a Chevy. And then Martin jumped in it when it went to Toyota.
Pretty sure Martin did one season with Chevy, and then they switched to Toyota. I'm pretty sure. So, but yes,
ironically enough, when he went to Toyota, when they actually got that 78 name on the board quite a few times.
Yeah, they got more than just the one win. Yes. Because initially, they got the first win at Pocono, I believe, right, Brian? I think so.
Was it Pocono or Dover? It might have been Dover.
I think it was Pocono.
I'm gonna take.
But man, this big gaggle of cars, this opening or not opening, but this lead pack of cars here, they are just exchanging blows for the lead.
Watch that A car, Will. That Elliott's coming. He's due to get one. He really is.
That's Greg Elliott. That is the defending champion.
Like to see him get
He keeps trying to put his car in the right position possible. This almost looks like last week at Atlanta, Brian.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, Will gets kind of compromised. Oh man.
That's just hard racing right there. That's exactly what that is.
I think that's Neckrich in the 66 that goes through the grass. Yes, it was the 66. I do believe it was. So, I hate to see that good top 10 run at the moment go to the wayside as he had to kind of become a John Deere tractor for just a moment. But he kept it straight. No caution came out. He was able to gather it back up. So love the Baja. As now there's almost a 3-car breakaway somewhat. Everybody still jockeying for these positions.
Yeah, a little bit further back here, we've got a Farmer and Bolton and Bonani and Spear and Ostrander all back here towards the back.
Kritz is kind of leading this group. Springer, Lee, Farmer, like you said, so...
See the 44 of Taylor and Mazzella exchanging positions there for 8th and 9th.
It's either Mazzella or Mazzella. I think it's Mazzella.
Mazzella, the way it's at.
Yes. You're better at the Italian pronunciations than me. Yep, Madigan taking the lead here. 50 laps in. But I don't know why I'm having such a troublesome time trying to pronounce Honeycutt's name, but my old stutter really rearing its ugly head tonight. But yeah, Honeycutt trying to stay with Manigan. Manigan now has a 0.2 of a second lead, so just a couple of car lengths over the 51 at the moment. Riding on board with Springer for a moment. You can just see all the different lanes that you can utilize here at Vegas as you see all the different racing throughout the field from the front all the way back here to the back. You know, Brian, we had a couple of cautions early on. Now it looks like we might get a chance to see maybe a green flag, pit stop here.
That would be awesome.
But don't want to chance it, so let's knock on that wood. Don't want to jinx it, but just saying.
Hey, like I said, these guys kick ass every week. They're a phenomenal group. I applaud them for everything that they do and take the time out of their Monday nights to put on a show for everybody. But anyway, after tonight, there is a massive update that is going out tomorrow. So
Baker got extremely tight behind Roberts, walked it up the track. Yes, indeed. Yes, continue talking about that update. I'm sorry, Brian.
No, you're good. So they're supposed to be added in the SRX cars, which is great. That is awesome. Love to see it. They're putting some rain edition in. For those of you guys who've been waiting for the rain, you should be receiving all of that tomorrow. But it is only for the IMSA style series at the moment. So it's not going to be a NASCAR at least for a while.
Yes, mainly the GT3, the prototypes, and the GT4 cars, if I'm not mistaken, Brian. So.
And the hold on.
One of the Formula cars?
Yes.
Probably the Formula 4s.
The Ray, I think it's like the old style Ray. So, that's alright.
Will Roberts now kind of dropping. Yes, indeed. He's kind of dropping back a little bit, like we talked about. It would be nice to get a long run in to see the type of pace that some of these guys up at the front may have, as Honeycutt is looking to take the lead back away from Manigan. They are still exchanging blows up at the front of the field, Brian, as, oh my goodness, they're almost three wide.
Oh, Brian came to play, Will.
Yes, he did, as Elliott is still eyeballing this lead. So the cream kind of rising to the top, the comers and goers. Oh no!
That is what side drafting does when you take the air off the quarter of the car. That's exactly what I mean. But I think he's alright.
Well, I think Honeycutt just got a bit too high and just got in the marbles and the wall just kind of sucked him in, Brian. I don't really think that was a product of O'Brien getting to his left quarter. There was a pretty decent gap there, so I don't know if that was just Honeycutt inching a bit further in that high line, or like you said, it could have maybe been some side draft, but I think now Honeycutt's like, oh, okay, well, I might not want to run that high up now. I think he's kind of learned his lesson for the most part. As I say that, he really goes back to attacking the high line in 3 and 4. So, anyway. So, Manigan, O'Brien, and Elliott, the new top 3. We have Taylor and Kritz 4th and 5th. Honeycutt has dropped a few positions because of the dragging the wall down at turn number 2.
And then you have Mazzella, Springer, Bolton, and Farmer to round out the top 10 there.
I don't know why that's so hard for me to Anyway, so Bodden, yes, in the 94. I wonder if he's teammates with Avery whenever Avery's here, because Avery's the 93, he's the 94. Maybe. Anywho, they could be. You never know.
Honeycutt's now in the pits. Well, he's probably going to fix that car up a bit there after making some smoochies to that wall.
Not just that, but possibly no.
I don't think it's time yet.
No. That is, yeah, at least another 10 to 15 laps before that pit window is open, like you talked about. So,
oh, there goes Taylor pitting. Oh boy, did he get down? Yes, he did.
Oh, okay. So this could actually be scheduled pit stops time. But man, what a massive lockup! He had both front tires locked up, trying to get slowed down. I believe pace speed here is, or pit road speed here, I believe is 50 miles per hour, Brian.
I'll check real quick, sorry.
No, you're good.
Pit speed is 50, yeah.
I was just remembering what it was last night at Vegas, so.
Sorry about popping that up. Know all that, so going that fast and then getting slowed down to 50. But pace speed, well, when they come out is 60. So.
Indeed. So you could get up to 60, and going up through the gears on the apron like we talked about. So pace speed, I believe, is also 60 here tonight as well.
Yes, sir.
Honeycutt, Lee, and Carter and Taylor are the first ones to pit early here. I think some of those.
Banani now in the pits.
I think Honeycutt might have just taken right sides, or maybe just gas only earlier, Brian, because he came out of the pits first, if we remember right. So he could have done some type of strategy to get up a little bit closer to the front of the field.
Well, I tell you what, boy, they are peeling off when they come out of the corner.
They really are.
Oh, there's a bobble from the 8. Of Elliott.
Oh, yeah. Elliott got his left sides down there on the paint, Brian, and we know you don't want to get that far down there.
No, you don't.
You don't want to straddle the paint on either end of the circuit, because it will, exactly what you just saw, it'll shoot your car back up, as we are still seeing this green flag cycle of pit stops. Oh my goodness, Randy almost came down to say hello to Honeycutt. You know, it doesn't matter whose name is Randy. You know, Randy is always going to put on a show for us, Brian. It doesn't matter who they are. If they have a name Randy, they will be kind of ones to watch, it seems like, almost every time there's a Randy in the race.
I think Brian Baker is now pitting. Yes, he is. And Madigan. So.
I think whenever Honey
complete here, as green flag pit stops are underway.
That is halfway, isn't it? 67 and 133.
Yes, it is.
Okie dokie. So halfway here tonight, I do believe. Like we talked about already, 200 miles that these guys have to book here tonight. So half the distance of a regular Cup Series race. That's what these guys do.
Oh yeah, we're way
each and every week.
67 would have
Oh, okay. Oh, Chris, something happened with the 34, Brian.
I saw that right as I looked up.
I don't know if he had contact or just got loose at a turn number 4, but he paint slapped the wall the last lap by.
Bolton, Krasinski, and Sample still out on the track. Well,
yeah,
they did some saving from and take advantage of that too as well. Hell, I would.
Well, we can call Kevin KT. He told us we could call him KT if we needed to.
That
So
works too.
opposite of Tony Kanaan, how his name kind of gets hit. One of his nicknames is a TK. So it's opposite of that basically. So yeah, we have a few drivers up here at the front that just haven't yet pitted. They are going the distance that they can go on their tanks, it looks like. And with Honeycutt, he started all this as far as coming down, peeling off first, and it looks like he might be in a decent position when it's all said and done. He's going to be fourth at the moment, but we still have 3 drivers still to pit here. So where he will equal out after everybody is out will be another question, because Brian, fresh tires on iRacing, that is the king. That is the great advantage that you will always have. If you can have 1, 2, 5 lot fresher tires, then you will be able to run back down anybody, it seems like, for the most part.
Right there, you see these guys are all getting a lap back by passing Krasinski right there in the 12 machine. So all those guys just got their lap back. Kevin's like, go ahead, have it. I'm pitting, I think, this time. Let's see this. Sample this too. So Honeycutt will recycle back around to be your leader.
Yeah, he's going to have at least a second, I do believe, over Taylor in the 44. A few seconds back will be O'Brien, and O'Brien is leading this gaggle. The 41, the 91, the 34, the 76, and I believe the 82 of Miller. Excuse me. Yeah, the 82 of Miller barely has the toe of the 76 here, so... Now he should have it now for sure. He is now a part of that little battle group here.
Well, what I did notice with these cars too, with doing NIS, if you're side by side and just like that, a hard lick to that wall there, the air will push your car up, even with them being outside. You don't really have to be right in the quarter. Going into the turn, coming off, that air will push that car up, and you will literally just start shifting up out of nowhere. Think like, okay, well, what the heck just happened? And that is why.
Exactly.
That's that dirty air that is forcing the car up out of the way from the other cars. So that's another thing to keep a close eye on too as well.
Well, we know just how aero dependent these Gen 7 Cup cars are. They are so aero dependent. So.
Well, especially now with not having any tape. So now it's all air intake. So.
Yes, exactly, and also the in a way the lower horsepower package as well. These cars are still running a little bit quicker than what they would be running if they were at Daytona or Talladega. They're not as restricted as they would be, say, like we just talked about at Talladega, Atlanta, Daytona, but they don't have the horsepower like they used to back in the day, right, Brian? So
yes, sir.
They are very, very aero-dependent race cars. You are averaging a higher corner speed, yes, but down the straightaways, it kind of takes a little while to build up to that peak top speed of maybe anywhere from 188 to 192 going into turn 1 and turn 3 as well, just depending on how you can come off the corners is where you could pick up that top speed. We saw Corey LaJoie with some strategy being able to be inside the top 10, top 5, but he did not have one of the quicker cars Sunday. We kept seeing every time they would show his onboard telemetry, he was not reaching that 188, 190. He was kind of about 186. So it kind of depends on the car you have. If it's kind of trimmed out to be for speed or if it's trimmed out for handling, right? But with everybody on a fixed setup like they are here this evening, like we talked about, you only really have a couple of things to adjust. It's mainly in the steering rack that you have to control.
Yep. You're absolutely correct, sir.
Taylor has chased down Honeycutt now, Brian. He is all over the back of the 51. Giving him a good run for his money, that's for sure, as O'Brien still leads this gaggle. The 41 of Mazzella setting in third kind of comfortably. He's got a second and a half of separation back to the gaggle behind him. But this is the battle for the lead as they are leaning on each other, Brian.
Yes, they are, Will. They are getting very, very racy. 80 laps in. Almost crunch time, Will. But the F51 of Honeycutt has done a great job. We know what he's capable to do. So he's going to race very hard, give you every ounce of run that he can give you. If he's got to throw you off, get you tight, he'll do it just to secure that P1, Will.
It's the Daytona season opener winner. We saw how well he's able to basically use up every lane possible to defend his position, but at the moment I think Taylor, we saw him pit, I want to say 3 laps, maybe 5, after Honeycutt pitted. I want to say it was at least 3 after Honeycutt, so he does have fresher tires than Honeycutt has, so no surprise that he was able to drive up and kind of dispose of Honeycutt.
Tire advantage is key. If you got a little bit fresher tires, it's going to get you to where you need to be.
I like where Taylor puts his number placement on his car. So way back here, we have Kurtz, and Kurtz is now leading this kind of gaggle back here. He's taking it over. You know, as they keep being racy, they are losing ever so slightly ground to the race leaders. The 41 of the 41, he's really kind of chasing them down just a little bit. Yes.
Yes, he's the lone wolf all by himself, trying to run him down. So.
And he's slowly taking chunks out of the race lead, though, if you look at it. Oh, we had Kritz and the 91 of Lee tag the wall coming out of turn number 4 the last lap by, Brian.
Yep, I was watching that. I'm like, he's flirting with that wall again. Boy, something about that turn 4 wall he likes.
Well, like we talked about, it just narrows up that racing lane. That's just right where the car goes. It just comes up out of the corner, and it just kind of funnels up to that wall, as you kind of see here on the corner exit of turn number 2 as well. So gotta watch out for that. Like we've seen already, we've seen cars getting very tight out of turn number 4 behind other cars in traffic, as we keep seeing them kind of kiss the wall off of exit.
Oh, well, I do believe next week these drivers head to Phoenix, as I'm aware of it. They're actually following the NASCAR schedule.
Yes, it is Phoenix, and after that, I want to say it's Bristol. It's 4 weeks of short track
just like
action.
That 30 air pushed them up.
Yes, indeed.
That's what I was talking about.
Phoenix, Bristol, Richmond, and Martinsville. So 4 weeks of a short track swing here. Then we go back to a mile and a half at Texas after the short track swing. So it's very similar to the Real World Cup schedule, as far as 16 races, and then they will, if I'm not mistaken, they said they have normally about a month break, and then they kick back up and kind of carry on with that as well. So
you see the 78 there, Will Roberts Hanging strong, P9, getting a little tight, cannot secure that bottom line, Will. I wouldn't try to leave so much room there because the car could stick its nose there, Will, and push you up off that line there. You see right there, get tight, and something happened to the 34 there. You see they're losing so much ground.
As they are fanning out back here. Oh my goodness, they passed Kurtz like he was almost standing still. Just because of the momentum lost. Oh my goodness, these guys, it's almost like a traffic jam at high speed. Like I said, it's almost like what we saw last week at Atlanta, except the banking's not as big. Oh my goodness. That's my go-to for the night. Oh my goodness. So.
Oh, 78 put the block on that 94, Will. Not
all the way to the grass.
Yep. Not sure how he's going to take that. The 78 left room for the 12 to get in there, so the 12 is going to take that spot from him. But yet again, Will, he's on a lot more fresher tires than this whole pack up here is. So.
Now, nothing has changed at the top front of the field, the top three. Taylor, Honeycutt, and Mazzella, still your front three.
Wow,
Springer.
He's 5 laps down.
Man, wonder what could have happened to Kevin.
I don't know. That's interesting.
He's 5 laps down, but he just passed Button. So, not too sure what has happened to the 12 machine. Oh, well, Kevin just got loose out of turn number 4, Brian, the lap prior, so that maybe he's just battling with some ill handling conditions that's not to his liking at the moment.
I agree. That's could be the possibility. Well, that will do that.
We do have one. Yes, it's very easy to get caught out with these Gen 7 Cup cars. They can be quite a handful to drive, as you know.
Yeah, Watkins Glen was one of them.
Yeah, you were running pretty good until you decided to straddle that rumble strip at a turn 1. So Austin Moore had a lot of that. He was really loving those rumble strips.
Yeah, it was a good race overall.
So, oh yeah, it was. Will Roberts finally gets away from Farmer and company, Madigan, for the moment. So everybody's kind of, in a way, fanning out, getting some separation now. This is another long run stint. We do speculate and see another green flag pit stop happening. We do not believe the drivers can go the distance from which they just pitted a couple of dozen laps ago, Brian. So they will have to have at least another pit stop. If I can do the math correctly in my head, we will see another one in due time. It's probably going to be between 115, maybe 118. Around the same time I started seeing pit stops happen last night, basically. This race is kind of similar to last night's race as far as when you need to pit. Second place has changed. Honeycutt has got passed by the 41. And O'Brien is slowly reeling in Honeycutt. So pitting early might be a detriment for Honeycutt. Even though he probably did have that right front damage after kind of beating the wall down out of turn number 2, he probably just decided to go ahead and pit early. Well, that started a chain reaction of just bringing everybody down, Brian. So
yes, sir, indeed. Well, if you want, we can do our little section of the night our little favorite
Yes.
part. So we'll let these drivers enjoy the sounds of these Gen 7s and the close-ups of the cameras that are provided to us. So want you guys to enjoy the crank it up section of the night, and here it goes. Actually, I'm gonna wait because they're making pit stops. I'll wait until they're done.
Yeah, me and Chris got to talking about kind of that. We were kind of making fun about how Fox had started this season, how they had kind of started cranking it up as they were doing caution pit stops, right? And we're like, why do we need to hear like the wheel guns and the idly engines during a caution pit stop, right? Like if you're a true racing fan, you want to hear those engines at full song under green flag competition,
Absolutely, I agree with you. You see Taylor back up towards the front, then Mazzella, then Bolton, then Roberts, Madigan, Sampo, Baker, Bonani, Spear. You see there,
Taylor.
Taylor.
Says Brian.
What happened?
I was just gonna say, if I wanted to hear an air gun go off, I'd just go borrow one of my brother-in-laws, like.
Yeah.
But yes, this is.
Pit stops are done.
And everybody will make it from here, no doubt about it. So, it just all depends on where everybody's going to come back out onto the track. Almost said a bad phrase there, Brian. But
That's all right.
just depends on where everybody's going to come out on track, and no pit road penalties whatsoever. As far as you don't, like we talked about. Don't need to speed entering or even exiting. You don't need to slide through that pit box to have to back it up. Basically, almost redo the whole pit stop.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't want to do. You want to make sure, and that's what we always talk about, even on our side. You want to capitalize on your pit stops. You want to hit it dead on point. One little slip up, if you were the leader going in and you had a great car throughout the whole race, you do not want to make any mistakes getting into your box and then leaving. Ooh, Honeycutt's 2 laps down. So 30 laps to go.
Well, if Honeycutt's 2 laps down, it's quite possible that he could have got a speeding penalty entering the pits, possibly. Just assuming, just speculating. We don't know the truth, but that kind of seems to add up. Maybe that could have happened. I know that happened with Jaden Sanchez in one of the B&R Cup Series. I think it was Thursday. It was
might have been Thursday.
It was the Auto Club race, Brian, Saturday. Which was Saturdays. Yes, it was 2 weeks ago that he won at Auto Club. So, yeah, he almost shot himself in the foot, but he was able to drive back from that pit road penalty because Auto Club's a 2-mile track, and he had a pretty substantial lead going into the pits. So sometimes having a decent lead can be beneficial to you if you happen to make a kind of a almost costly mistake, as we are still waiting on 4 cars to make their scheduled pit stop here.
Yeah, you see the 24 Sample, and then Baker, then Spear, and then Bolton. Top 4 currently on the lead lap as we talk.
Yep. Lap 106. So closing in on 25 to go here, Brian.
There we are.
So, like we talked about, still waiting for the top four to make their pit stop. And it looks like Taylor may walk away with the race lead when it's all cycled out. O'Brien, not sure what the interval is to O'Brien, yes, to O'Brien from Taylor, as I'm trying to find their initials on the track map. It might take me a minute. Still trying to get used to everybody's
Walton's pit
names.
now. There you go. So just JT's going in turn 1 and 2, so is O'Brien. So they're like right there on top.
Yeah, I think O'Brien has a lap car in front of him. Oh my. The 91 kind of shoving Honeycutt through turn 3 and 4 there for the most part. These guys really leaning on one another. Oh, that's a Dollar Tree paint scheme on the 91. I've been wondering what that was this entire time. Finally got close enough to see.
I think this time the 24 will pit.
Baker comes down and pits, so like he talked about, still really have Sample and okay, so Spear pits as well. So like he talked about, just Randy Sample left to pit, and then that should cycle the leader back out to being JT, like he talked about. Oh, the 94 and the 78 had contact the lap prior, and coming out of turn number 4, Brian. So Kurtz.
Everybody is now pitted.
So you have a second and a quarter, or no, excuse me, that's a 2-second lead, I believe. I'll just wait for it to actually completely cycle out here before I. Yes, okay, I was kind of right. Over a second and a half lead for JT in the 44. O'Brien in second place, and Springer rounds out the podium positions in third currently.
Yes, sir, indeed. All right, we'll do a couple of laps in our little segment here, and then we'll bring it back because everybody has now officially pitted, and we'll give you the sounds of these Gen 7s, and we hope you guys enjoy.
Well, Brian, 16 laps to go, and I do believe we have 16 cars remaining on the lead lap in the closing stages of this race.
Yes, sir, indeed. We sure do. Like I said, I was watching the battle ever so slightly as we were doing that with the 91 and 51 here.
Yeah, they're going at it for sure. Honeycutt trying to get both of his laps back. We do speculate he had a speeding penalty on the last cycle of green flag pit stops. Now, that is not a position, or a Battle 4 position. That is Lee in the 12th position in the 91 machine that Honeycutt is trying to get by.
You see, as the 91 leaning hard on the 51, trying to give him some of that dirty air to maybe upset that car, Will, but...
Springer and O'Brien, second and third right now. Springer has caught O'Brien, as O'Brien has dropped about a quarter of a second, even back further from JT. As the 34 car still having some problems out of number 4. Still that loosey-goosey that we've seen a little bit earlier in the night.
Yeah, he's got some, see there's some left side damage on that door there, Will.
Possibly just some of that hard racing we've seen. I really like how the 34 has his number placement too. I think him and JT are teammates just by the number and the number placement as well. And they both run Chevys, I do believe, so I like seeing. I'm a stickler for just the number in the middle of the door, Brian. So I feel like it looks all right. Still being on the middle of the door. It's still a bit hard for me to get used to the number being right behind the front tire, basically on the door. So, or on that side panel. 10 laps to go, Brian, and Taylor in the 44 has a comfortable 2 1/4 second lead over O'Brien and Springer, who are battling for that second position, Brian.
Oh yeah, the Bucky.
As you see here,
I guess that's.
I'd have to get a onboarder, like a third-person view get a good view of what his sponsor is on the O'Brien machine. Oh, but man, you can see just how hard they are still going at it for this second position. I think that could be O'Brien's own brand or company there.
That's what it looks like.
On board with the spoiler cam. Oh, this is Botten. So second, third, and fourth, Brian, battling for the podium positions here.
Yes, it is.
Botten goes low on O'Brien, taking the second spot away. No, he couldn't. He got tight underneath him. O'Brien's going to come down and block that lane now. It's a true battle for second, as JT really running away with it here late in the goings, extending this lead out now that these guys are getting racy back here for second, third, and fourth. Seven laps to go. I might as well say 6.5 laps to go. It will be 6 to go at the line. Now
See,
5
they
to go
make
at
a
the
little
line.
contact up there.
Yes, indeed. Slight contact being made for second place here. Wonder how O'Brien will try to make a comeback at Button. Springer really is in the catbird seat if these two can, wipe each other out here. He might be able to swipe on by. Oh, this is also the 5th place car coming into the fray now, Brian. So,
Yeah.
second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Button, O'Brien, Springer, and Mazzella.
Who's going to get the podium positions here? One of the closest battles on track. The next closest battle probably comes for 6th place with Roberts and Elliott, and then Madigan, Miller, and Kritz. That is 8th, 9th, and 10th position. So we have battles all over the place, still raging on in the closing laps of this race. 3 laps to go, Brian.
Yep.
Coming to 2 to go. The leader's about to get 2 to go.
Just like that, 2 laps to go.
Can O'Brien get back to Button?
I don't think so. I think he's kind of burnt his stuff up a bit.
Yeah, everybody's kind of equalized here in the going. Oh, as the 41 getting a run on Springer. But Springer really defends, can't quite do nothing with Springer. White flag is out, indeed, for Taylor. And everybody else here, as they're trying to chase down Taylor, but it's just not going to be enough time. We saw how good Taylor was in the opening race of the season. 3rd round here at Las Vegas. He's going to come by and take the checkered flag as they're still battling for the final spot on the podium. Who's going to get it? It's going to be O'Brien.
O'Brien brings it on P3, the final spot on the podium here. But the 44 JT will win the race off strategy. I think O'Brien, the 44, the 34 are teammates. They all have their number exactly where it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, right in the middle of the door, yeah. Oh, yeah, Taylor's in a Mustang. My apologies. I said he was in a Chevy earlier, so...
And there is the final results of the race.
Station Taylor, P1, Adam Botten, in P2, Sean O'Brien in P3. That rounds out the podium finishers. Michael Springer, 4th, Jonathan Mazzella in 5th, Will Roberts, 6th, Greg Elliott, the defending champion, in 7th position, Joseph Madigan, 8th, Keenan Miller, 9th, Dylan Kritz in 10th. That rounds out the top 10. Josh Farmer in 11th, John Neckrich in 12th, Randy Sample in 13th, Kane Lee in 14th, Brian Baker 15th, Antonio Bonini in 16th, Aaron Spears 17th, Ryan Honeycutt 18th. Scroll down by.
Chris Ostrander 19th, Michael Cochran 20th, Clint Collins 21st, Kevin Trzynski 22nd, and Michael Carter 23rd.
So that rounds out the final results and race finishers here this evening. Hopefully we can wrangle up our podium finishers and talk to them here.
Awesome, look at that. So we'll go ahead and talk to Sean O'Brien. Sean O'Brien, you got a copy.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you very much for asking. And how's it going for you?
Can't be too upset. Top three. Had second top five in a row. I missed Daytona, but starting the year off hot.
Hey, that is all that matters. You had an awesome car, a lot of leaning on the door, which played with everybody. I'm not too sure if we did a little bit of NIS last week or any officials, but we know how challenging and tricky this track can be, especially with the way these cars handle. These cars handle very weird. The dirty air plays a big key. Clean air also does even better. So, congratulations on the podium finish in P3. Why don't you go ahead and describe to the fans at home and the viewers who are watching how much of a rhythm track that Las Vegas can be and how difficult it was to get slowed down to 50 miles per hour entering the pits and then finessing your way through the traffic.
Yeah, well, Vegas, like any mile and a half besides Atlanta, it's really about tires. Almost any kind of speedway track in this game is about saving tires. So I dropped back a little bit. I started deep in the field, started 17th, but let some guys pass me. But in 20 laps, I was reeling them in, and it's really hard mentally to let guys by you, like willingly lose spots. So it's constantly a mental struggle. Like, man, I'm getting passed. Like, I'm down 5 spots since this restart. But just knowing that if this goes green, and that's a big if in iRacing, if it goes green, that you'll eventually get those spots back. It helps with that. Pit road here, it's pretty straightforward. It's just about having a mark, and especially here, live the banking. Using the banking to help slow the car down, stay steady, and entering the pits. I know on my last stop, there's a guy right behind me sped. So any kind of fast track, it's challenging it on pit road, especially in these cars. These cars have great brakes, but they're also real sensitive, super easy to lock up. But yeah, it's just about these cars. It's just about being consistent, keeping them tires cold, and you do that, you get great finishes like me and Jason.
Yes, sir, indeed. Next week, you guys head to Phoenix. What's going to be your overall mindset going into Phoenix?
It's gonna be keeping one eye out that windshield and one eye in that mirror, looking for dive bombs. We've all seen races there. It can fan out 5 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide, going into that turn 1. So it's just about keeping spatial awareness where everyone else is around you, and just trying to stay clean, keep that car clean.
Yes, sir, absolutely. The dog leg is tricky. I'm not too sure if you guys are going to have the dog leg, but I do know with these cars, when you hit the dog leg and you attack it very hard, the rear wants to kick out. So that's another thing to pay attention to, as everybody wants to go 5 wide on you. Once again, sir, awesome job on the P3. Any final shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Shout out to Jason S. Taylor, Dylan Kritz, everyone at Black Flag Motorsports. Got the win tonight. And shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for everything you do broadcasting these races. I know it's, lot of hard work, a lot of time, but we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Not a problem. It's awesome to have you here. Keep that momentum up into next week, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again.
All right, thanks, guys.
No problem, sir. All right, well, next up, Adam. Talk, Mr. Adam here. And the floor is yours.
Adam, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, it was kind of an eventful night, to say the least, but you found your way back up to the front late in the going. Just tell us about how racy it was out there and how you were able to make your way from the back to the front and just be there at the end whenever it mattered.
Well, start of the race, had a pretty good car, and then got caught up in that incident. And after that incident, I don't know if it was the tires or just the track change, but my car was junk there, so I just went off strategy a little bit, and I extended my run out a little bit, and I was able to have the freshest tires there at the end, and that was how I was able to make all my ground up. And then just ran out of time passing people. I was running the leader down, but just hit a wall there when I tried passing the 65. He gave me a bunch of trouble, and I overheated the tires at that point and stalled out there with a couple laps to go.
So maybe a late race caution or something. You could have possibly had something for JT there at the end.
Nah, my best bet was to keep green. If I could have cleared the 65 a little sooner and not kill my tires, I think I could have caught the 44. It was just burnt the tires up getting around the 65. But I did not have short run speed.
No, you did not. You had that long run speed for sure. So, like you said, you just needed it to stay green. Maybe you could have got him towards the end there, like you talked about. If it was a little bit longer of a race, maybe a 250 miler, maybe, or 235, something like that, Adam. But next week we go into Phoenix. We're starting a 4-week run of short track swing. What's the mindset going into kind of well, you do have to race it like a short track out there in the desert, that Phoenix. So what's kind of the mindset going into that?
Right now it's going to be a mystery because with the mega update tomorrow, we're supposed to be getting the new short track package. So right now it's a giant mystery for everybody.
Yes, that's very true.
So until we get our hands on that new update, who knows how it's going to be?
Practice.
Absolutely.
I believe we talked to you at Daytona, so this is kind of keeping the good momentum on your side, and hopefully you could continue this string of good runs and just keep racking up these points, man, because points is what's going to be able to, kind of, I feel like, clinch you into that playoff berth if you're not able to pick up a win, which, the speed that you have, I don't see why you couldn't pick up a win maybe at Texas or somewhere down the line with the long run speed that you do have.
Yeah, I'm sure we can squeak one out here or there. Texas is probably one of my best tracks on here, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I was just comparing from how you ran tonight to maybe in the next few weeks how you could run at Texas, So any final thoughts, shout-outs, anything before we let you guys celebrate this P2 finish tonight?
I'll give a shout-out to you guys for putting on a good show. Shout-out to my AMS teammates, Kane, Michael, and Aaron. They all had a up and down race, but overall, not too bad. They were on a different strategy, and it ultimately didn't pay off very well, but overall, they were running pretty good. So we'll take a solid day and regroup for next week.
Well, best of luck to you going forward, Adam, and thanks for talking to us tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right, you guys have a night.
You too.
You too.
Last but not least, Will, our race winner, Jason. Mr. Taylor, you got a copy?
Yeah, that's a good copy.
How is it going, sir?
Well,
It's absolutely fantastic.
Go ahead.
I would have to say so. After kind of winning this race, dominating a little bit once you got out in that clean air, you were starting to, in a way, pull away. You had a tremendous long run capability car underneath you, and it really showed once we finally got to see these long runs. You were kind of just chilling, seeing what the car was capable of, and kind of early goings. And then once, like we talked about, once we got these long runs under our belt, you were able to just make your way up through the field, and those green flag caution pit stops really helped you out a lot. Just tell us about it, Jason.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Will. So it was just about managing the tires the best you can, and the way you do that is by specific pace. And over at the Black Flag Motorsports shop, we really put in the work to figure those paces out and set ourselves up for success today. And 3 top 10s and 2 podiums is pretty good for us.
I would have to say so too. Carrying this momentum forward into Phoenix next week. What's kind of the ideology going into Phoenix?
It's going to be the same thing. I think we showed what we had at Daytona and Atlanta, getting out to the front and holding on to leads and unfortunate events there. So we're just looking forward to showing what we got and not having like super speedways being the dictator of our fortunes.
Right, that can sometimes just be the Achilles heel for some. Just getting caught up in really melee or wrecks that's not of your own making. Right, it's really a game of chance whenever you go into a super speedway event. So, like you talked about, just a good run of finishes here, the first few weeks to kick off the season, and going into the short track swing of things for the next few weeks to come is going to be one heck of a chore for you and the rest of your competitors for sure. But tell us some more about tonight, about how hard the racing was out there. It looked fun from our point of view, but it was probably nail biting for you guys.
To be honest, I was just trying to maintain the cool. When I was going for the pass for the lead, some aggressive drivers were getting into my door a little bit, and just maintaining your cool through that, and maintaining your just being cool, just easy. Be a Jedi.
Right, because you can really get annoyed super easily when someone just kind of runs out of real estate and comes up, knocks your door in, and it doesn't matter what track it can be, but you really hate it, especially on the mile and a half, because you're like, don't we have enough room here? So I'm sure tempers might be a little extra flary, in the coming weeks. Like I said about the short track swing, short tracks always bring out the best in everybody. But what's your final thoughts or shout outs or anything before we let you go celebrate this win there, Jason?
Absolutely. First and foremost, shout out to the Black Flag Motorsports Shop, Sean O'Brien Jr. and Dylan Kritz. Without those two, I wouldn't be doing this. Shout out to you two. You guys are awesome. Thanks for putting on the show. Chris Ostrander and all the admins, we very much appreciate the league. The Untied Retinals Ford Mustangs in Victory Lane, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Big.
A lot of practice too, because in the new update that comes out tomorrow, you guys get the new short track package that they're releasing too as well. So a lot of practice that's going to go into hand too as well. So
you can ask the boys back at the Black Flag Motorsports Shop. I love me some practice.
Hey, practice makes better to get you set up for the next week. I do a lot of it too on my side for my cup side of things too. So practice is always better, so you know how roughly the tire wear and the handling is going to be throughout the run. So that's why I tell everybody, practice as much as you can, especially with the new package coming out. There's a lot of things coming out in this next update, so it's going to be interesting to watch you guys out there next week. That is for sure. So
I would love to see me some rain at Martinsville. That'd be fun.
Right? That would be awesome. But unfortunately, we won't get that until probably a couple months down the line. So, which is funny because me and Will started talking about that halfway through the race. I was going over majority of the updates, what's releasing and stuff like that. But I can't wait for them to put it in the NASCAR side of things. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Again, I appreciate you too, Brian and Will. Thank you for putting on the show for us. Really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, sir.
Appreciate compliments and kind words.
You go celebrate that win and burn it down, toke it up if that's in anybody's.
Whoa, now, calm down.
I'm already there. All right, thanks, boys. See you later.
Hi, buddy.
Later, Chase.
Well, there you go. Well, anyway, we're very excited night here tonight, I would say, with these group. A fantastic group, Will. Always exciting to have these guys out here and doing what they do. You see a lot of them enjoy it. Keeping cool is the main key, as we heard tonight. Different driving styles out there. Vegas, too. Vegas is a very good tire-eating track. We've seen that in the real life, and now we see it over here on the sim side of things. But anyway, Will, once again, it's always awesome to have you here. Once again, thank you coming in the booth here, sparing your time as accordingly as you can. You can catch me and Will tomorrow night as the B&R Truck Series heads to Texas. So they'll be doing their little Texas stint tomorrow too. So they'll be experiencing the new updates, the new tire model if they're releasing any, or whatever package that they're putting out for all of them. So once again, we want to thank you guys for coming out here tonight, tuning in with me and Will as we broadcast for the AMS League. A great group of guys, awesome people, very laid back. So once again, thank you for coming out. Be safe, stay strong. We love each and every one of you guys. Sharing, giving us the love, giving AMS the love, giving B&R the love. Come out every week, and we'll promise to keep you on your feet with everything. Oh crap! I just realized JP was in here. What's up, JP?